alert from the World Health Organization.
By the World Health Organization.
This morning, the World Health Organization
about video game addiction.
Compulsively playing too many video games, gaming disorder.
Gaming disorder as a mental health condition.
Adding gaming disorder to their list of addictive activities.
Depression, anxiety, these are two very common mental health conditions. There are many different ways to combat them, from prescribed drugs to counselling or even just partying and drinking to avoid having to deal with these conditions. However, what if I told you that gaming has been proven to be one of the best ways to combat mental health, especially depression and anxiety? Since the rise of gaming from the early 70s all the way up to now, more and more people are gaming and it is becoming accepted. Although the media and gaming have not had a great relationship, I think people are now starting to realise the benefits of playing video games, and since the lockdown has started due to COVID-19, people are picking up gaming as a way to pass time. There are so many positive effects gaming can have on people. For one, like I've already said, it's a great way to pass time. It stimulates your mind and can even provide more entertainment and keep you engaged for longer than a film or TV show can at times. It also allows for creativity. With games like the ever increasingly popular Minecraft, players of all ages have the freedom to explore their creativity and create whatever they can think of. Gaming can also be used as a great brain training tool, keeping your mind sharp and allowing for you to improve your hand-eye coordination. There are many benefits that gaming provides. The main benefit that I want to primarily focus on is how gaming helps combat mental health conditions. Numerous studies have been conducted over the years about how it helps against depression and anxiety.
Video games are my favourite art form. I'm a firm believer in how they can be something that families can enjoy together. They can be whimsical, just plain fun. Or on the other hand, they can be extremely powerful pieces of art that can inspire real social change. For the latter, I believe that video games are actually better at this than any other art form. Mainly because video games don't just give you a story told from the perspective of someone, they don't just let you watch their decisions, they don't just show you how someone would react to something, they allow the player to be that someone.
This is the reason why I find that video games are so effective at combating mental health. This is why games can become so addictive and why they are quite possibly the best form of media in my opinion. It allows for you to leave everything behind and immerse yourself fully into this world. Unless your character or the story mention mental health, you kind of just forget that it exists for a little while.
I started gaming probably around the age of like 6, 7, I would say. The games I played really were like horror games, so it was mainly like Resident Evils and Final Fantasies that started me into gaming.
Well, I started gaming from a very young age, starting with basic console. I had a Sega Mega Drive. I used to play Sonic on, which was quite fun, and being quite young and quite bad at games, wasn't very good at it. But, you know, maybe get the second level of Sonic, maybe. Then I think as I got older, I got Sega Dreamcast, which I was again playing Sonic Adventure, which was quite good. Which was a bit better then, got a bit further in it. And I think I got a PlayStation then. And then from there, I got an Xbox, which I love playing Halo. Halo series is basically, you know, one of the best series of games I've ever played. And then I moved on to PC gaming, which is where I currently sit around now.
I started gaming when I was quite young, playing PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii and DS, but mostly played with my family. I properly got into gaming when I was about 17 and got my own PlayStation 4. I would watch my favourite YouTubers play lots of games that I wanted to try. I would watch them all day every day as I was in such a depressive state that was all I could bring myself to do. One day I finally decided to give it a go myself, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Although there are definitely positives, it goes without saying that there are of course drawbacks when it comes to excessive gaming. This can even worsen mental health and cause stress from being addicted, as it interrupts normal day-to-day life. The World Health Organization have listed gaming disorder as a mental health condition. I personally deal with depression and anxiety myself, and at around 12 years old is when I first started experiencing them at their worst. Shortly after, I started playing more and more games due to having a problem with my knee, which caused me extreme agony when I would try to run. And because I could no longer play football, I felt gaming was all I had left. I would spend 12 plus hours a day gaming, and I was completely addicted. It affected my schoolwork, and I ended up leaving school with very little. That of course made me more depressed, so I continued to game more.
It's a nice escape, isn't it? But you've got to realise that you've got to also do the things that you need to be doing. So it was times where I'd probably push away things I should have been doing rather than going out or doing my work. I'd be sitting there playing games, and sort of probably at the earlier stages of schooling probably did interfere with that a bit.
It probably affected my mental state positively a majority of the time. Sometimes when I'd like get angry at games and stuff, that was a lot of the time when I was younger though. So that would like put me in probably a state of like stress, but for a majority positive. Because of the lockdown, I've spent more time gaming, but I think that's helped me get through it a bit easier because it's kept my mind occupied. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't know what I'd be doing. I would just be sat bored like the whole time, and it would just be boring.
Yeah, I have. It's just sort of just been sat there, just hours, just sat there, just playing because there's nothing else to do, and it's sort of a bit boring. And anything that's a bit different than being sat in the house.
I'd say lockdown has definitely affected my mental health. I think most people with pre-existing mental health conditions aren't coping so well in such a stressful time. I used work as a way of getting my mind off my bad thoughts and putting my energy into something else. So during lockdown, I've still tried to do something productive each day and keep my gaming to the evening still, so I don't do a complete 180 and go back to being very depressed and only being able to get up and game and do nothing else with my day.
Coming off of school, my first year of college was pretty much the same. I would bunk off and just play video games all the time, and I really didn't care much for it, and as a result I ended up failing. My second year was much better. I took a subject that I was quite good at and I was thriving in it, and I ended up getting really good grades and proving that I could do it, but I just really didn't feel the passion for it, so I didn't continue on to another year of it. Gaming in moderation is generally a good thing and can help take players away from their problems, even if it's just for a short while.
I primarily use gaming to wind down after work. I tend to work 10-11 hour shifts a day, so I only get time to play in the evenings. When I first got my PlayStation, I would play it all day every day to get my mind off of things. It was also the only thing I had the motivation to do. During this time in my life, if I wasn't gaming, I'd be out partying, drinking and doing drugs every weekend, if not more, which I guess shows what kind of mental stability I had. After my nights out, I'd be straight back on the console, talking to my friends and gaming till all hours in the morning for an escape from the real world and real problems.
I struggle for mental health a bit, which with gaming is quite helped with that. So sort of if I'm having sort of a bad day, I'll sort of just go and sit and play some games for a couple of hours, and that might sort of, make me feel a bit better with it. So it's quite been a nice release from, the world and stresses.
My opinion on this is like very broad, because I feel like if you're not into gaming like from a young age, it's quite difficult to get into it. So if you're going for a tough time, it would be quite stressful to get into it now. But if it's been like a long-term thing, then I think it would help a lot.
As well as gaming itself helping, there is of course a lot of focus of online play these days. This can help introduce you to people that can end up becoming some of your closest friends or even more. This in a way stems from gaming, and as a result of it can change lives and impacts you indirectly.
Gaming now, I think now I've sort of, I'm working now, so I only get to play games when I'm tired, when I'm not tired, and when I've got the time. But it's also really nice with a couple of my mates that I've not spoke to in maybe a while. We'll sort of get together and play some games for an hour and just sort of, have a bit of banter, and it's quite nice to sort of catch up with them again and sort of relive the wasted youth of, sitting there playing League of Legends till stupid o'clock in the morning and that sort of thing.
Gaming has pretty much changed my life. It has allowed me to connect with others over the internet who have now become some of my closest friends, as well as meeting my boyfriend. This in turn has greatly helped my mental health, and I've changed into a completely different person from what I was only 2 to 3 years ago. As much as games themselves have helped me escape from reality, I find that it was more the people I met that have shaped me and helped me become who I am today. As someone who suffers with social anxiety, it's amazing that you can meet people through a screen and get to know them before actually meeting them. Take my boyfriend for example. I'd been talking to him for months before we finally met up, but having that chance to talk to him and get to know him all that time beforehand helped me gain so much confidence to such an anxiety-ridden experience. It also helped that we had gaming in common and have continued to game together as a couple. My internet friends are now some of my best friends, and I think it's great that you can find people that like the same thing as you in such a great social space. I found that a lot of people in the gaming community do suffer with a bunch of different mental health problems, and the fact that you can find someone, become friends with them, bond over a game, but also be able to talk about your experiences through mental health problems is incredible. It can be hard for people to talk openly about how they're feeling, and I think the fact that you're talking through a screen to someone that you hardly know, but is also going through the same thing you are, can really help people's mental state.
I ended up going to a different college and studying a media course, but it was mostly because I had a friend there doing it as well. My second year was very hard for me because I made no friends and I was quite alone, so I really didn't want that again. I was around 17 or 18 at the time, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my future. Doing what I was doing at college I found really enjoyable, and I could see this becoming a future for myself. So I started spending less time playing games and more time focusing on my college work, and it ended up creating quite a lot of things that I'm quite proud of, to be honest. My life isn't really the same, nor will it ever be again. I still do play games, just a lot more moderated, and I think that's the way it should be. Overall, I think gaming for a couple hours a night is harmless. If anything, it's beneficial, and it provides an escape from the world and all the problems that you might be going through. However, you should limit yourself and make sure that it doesn't take over your life, and that you're doing all your work and turning up to your job on time. Thank you for watching.